Going on, YouTube family? This is your man Pristine, back with another video. Yes, before you is the new iPhone 12. Let's dive right in. First off, we want to talk a little bit about the price really quickly. So the price variations differ slightly from the Pro model, and so I'll go over those with you really quickly. So this is the 64 gigabyte variant of the Pro, and the thing, of the iPhone 12, and the iPhone 12 is the only one that offers a 64 gigabyte variant. So with the 12 here, you've got 64 gigabytes at $799.99. You can get a 128 gigabyte variant for $849, and then you can get a 256 gig for $949. Now with the Pro, you can get the Pro. The Pro doesn't have a 64 gig variant. It starts off at 128. So the 128 gig for the Pro starts at $999. You can get the 256 gig variant of the Pro for $1099, and you can get the 512 variant of the Pro for $1299. So you see how that kind of flip-flops. The iPhone 12 offers a 64 gigabyte variant, but it stops at 256 gigs. The Pro doesn't have a 64 gigabyte variant, but it tops out at 512. See, with the iPhone 12 here, you don't get a 512 gigabyte variant. It stops at 256. So, you know, just a little bit of information for you if you're planning on going out to get either one of these variants of this new iPhone device. Now, pardon me, I'm gonna cover everything here. So, you know, make sure you're paying attention. You got your popcorn. You got your sodas, your bottle of water, or, your glass of wine, whatever you do, however you kick it, whatever your vice is, roll up a blunt, whatever you do, because I'm long-winded with this thing and I've got all the details here. So I'm going to try to keep this video as short and sweet as possible. All right. It's going to be long, but I'm going to try to keep it so that it ain't too long. All right. So let's go. We've got a 6.1 inch Super Retina XDR OLED HDR10 display with a resolution of 1170 by 2532 pixels. We've got a 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio. We've got a 460 ppi pixel density. We've got an 86% screen to body ratio, and we've got scratch resistant glass and oleophobic coating to help reduce some of those prints and glares from lights while you're looking at your display. So the oleophobic coating, it really helps with your vision being obscured by different lighting that may be reflecting off of your device. Now, the internal specifications, we've got the Apple A14 Bionic 5 nanometer chipset. We've got a hexa-core CPU. We've got an Apple 4-core graphics GPU. Again, this is the 64 gigabyte variant. We've got 4 gigabytes of RAM, and we're running iOS 14.1, which is the latest iOS software. Okay, now for the cameras, we've got a dual camera setup here on the rear as opposed to a triple camera setup that we find on the Pro. Now, the camera setup on the rear of the Pro here is a 12 megapixel f1.6 26 millimeter wide angle lens. It's a 1.4 micron pixel dual pixel PDAF and optical image stabilization. All right, we have another 12 megapixel f2.4 aperture, 120 degree 13 millimeter ultra wide sensor, and this is at 1/3 by 6 micron pixels. We've got dual LED dual tone flash, HDR, photos, and panorama. We do have 4K recording at 24, 30, or 60 frames per second. We've got 1080p recording at 30, 60, 120, or 240 frames per second. And we are featuring HDR, Dolby Vision HDR up to 30 frames per second. And we have stereo sound recording. Now, on this device here, we have no LiDAR scanner. Okay, but we do have a LiDAR scanner on the 12 Pro, and I'll talk a little bit about that a little later on in the video, just in case you guys are wondering what a LiDAR scanner is. All right, now, for the battery, we've got a Li-ion 2815 milliamp hour non-removable battery. Now, this battery is supposedly can charge at 20, it has 20 watts fast charging and can charge up to 50% in 30 minutes, Apple is claiming. We have power delivery 2.0. We have Qi fast wireless charging at 15 watts. And sadly, we do not have Type-C. We are still running the Lightning adapter on the bottom of the iPhone 12 here and the 12 Pro. Apparently, that's also going to be the case with the Pro Max and the 12 Mini. All right, so just something to consider. Now, the color variations that we can get, this is the product red. This should have been called product coral because it looks more like a coral than it does a red. This is actually product red here on my iPhone SE 2nd Gen. This is product red, but I'll compare these reds once I take this out the box and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But we have red, black, white, green, and blue. Now, for the Pro model, we have 4 colors. I mean, so with the iPhone 12 here, you got one additional color, which is the white color. For the Pro model, you get graphite, silver, gold, and Pacific blue. That gold on the Pro model, that joint that goes hard, man. That it looks dope. All right, now for additional features, we have stereo speakers, Face ID. Well, Face ID is not really an additional feature. NFC, Bluetooth 5.0. We do have an IP rating of 68 water and dust resistance. We do now have night mode for every camera, and this phone is 5G enabled. You know, one of the main things that Apple is really making a big deal of is the 5G capabilities of the iPhone 12 here. It's funny how Apple, they'll introduce something that's been on other devices for a while, but then they'll say things like, oh, well, 5G just got real. Was 5G not a thing before it was implemented here on the new iPhones? Like, I'm just trying to understand, you know what I'm saying? I mean, because I see these commercials, they got Chris Rock in the commercials. And at the end of the commercial, he's talking about 5G just got real. Tim Cook in the keynote presentation talking about 5G just got real. And I'm like, why, fellas, where y'all been? You know what I'm saying? 5G been a thing. You know what I'm saying? Now it's still in the process of being perfected because we know that it's the next big thing. But Apple is acting like they're the first device to implement 5G. Like 5G just got real. Reality check, Apple. 5G's been a thing. There are several 5G devices out, Apple. The LG Wing. My Moto Razr 5G here. Let me see here. My Moto Edge Plus here. The Galaxy Note 20 is 5G. The OnePlus 8 and 8T is 5G. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out where Apple is getting this stuff from. 5G just got real, but that's what they're touting. They're really making a big deal of 5G's implementation onto the new iPhone 12s. So, hey, if that's their biggest selling point, then hey, Apple can have at it. All right, now, the build, we've got Gorilla Glass on the front and the back of this bad boy. And we've got an aluminum frame, and the weight of this device is 164 grams at 5.78 ounces. We have ceramic shield on the front of this device, and apparently this is supposed to be like the toughest grade of glass and durability that there is. And so this is saying that Apple is touting that this phone has 4 times better drop performance and durability. So yeah, once you test that out and just, crack your iPhone 12 out the box and just drop it on the ground and see how that works out for you. Yeah. How about that? Now, I'm being sarcastic. Don't nobody really do that unless you got deep pockets. And if you break your phone, you can just run down to your nearest Best Buy or carrier store where you got your new iPhone and cop another one, because it will get damaged if you drop it. I don't care how durable they're saying that this device is. Now, I'm going to read off to you what this phone doesn't have that the Pro does, so that you can make an informed decision as to whether or not you want to rock with this phone or you want to go with the Pro because the Pro is offering a little bit more. Okay, but just know if you're going with the Pro, you're going to pay a little bit more. But some people may feel as though paying that additional premium is worth it. Others, like myself, that's all about trying to save a buck, who could care less about all the stuff. Man, bars, man. I'm telling y'all, man, I need to make this album. But yeah, man, here we go. All right. So these are the things that the iPhone 12 doesn't have that the Pro has. We don't have a telephoto lens on the rear of this one. There is no Apple Pro RAW imaging with the camera system. Okay. We don't have Dolby Vision HDR video recording up to 30 frames. Well, I mean, we have Dolby Vision HDR video recording up to 30 frames rather than 60 frames per second. Don't know if that's going to be a big deal to some of you. It could very well be. Now, there is no LiDAR scanner. Now, what the LiDAR scanner does is it improves night mode portraits. It offers faster autofocus in low light circumstances. And so there's a LiDAR scanner on the Pro and the 12 Pro Max, but there's no LiDAR scanner here on the 12 or the 12 mini. All right. As I mentioned earlier, the 12 here has more. It has one more color option. This device it tops out at 125 nits max brightness, as opposed to the 800 nits max brightness that's on the Pro. As I mentioned, this one has a glass back with an aluminum frame design, as opposed to the Pro. The Pro has a textured matte glass finish and in a stainless steel frame. So the Pro actually may be a little bit more durable, even though both of these devices, whether it be the 12 or the Pro, has that ceramic technology. So it's supposed to be much more durable than last year's variations of the iPhone 11s. Yeah, this one weighs 6.7 ounces versus the 6.66 ounces on the Pro. Again, this one weighs 164 grams versus the 189 grams that the Pro weighs. This one does not have optical zoom in and no 4-time optical zoom range, and also no digital zoom up to 10 times, but only 5 times. So it does have digital zoom, but you can only digitally zoom up to 5 times rather than 10 times. You've got 10 times digital zoom on the Pro. All right. Now, there is no night mode portrait shots option on this device like there is on the Pro. And lastly, there is no 2-time optical zoom in during video recording. All right. So those are the things that the iPhone 12 does not have that the iPhone 12 Pro does have. If those things are determining factors to you, then obviously get the Pro. If they're not, save yourself some money and get yourself the 12 here, because it's the same phone. You see what I'm saying? So, again, this phone does not have batteries inside of them. And I guess the rationale behind that is that Apple decided to be, they felt like it would be a much more eco-friendly thing to do. And, in an effort, I guess, to help save the environment, not to send batteries in the devices. I guess they feel as though, people have iPhone chargers all over the place, which is an assumption, because if you don't, or just say if people have had previous iPhones, who's to say that the condition of their charger is good condition? And if it's not, then you guessed it, you got to run down to your local Apple store or your Best Buy or the carrier store where you got your shiny new iPhone. And guess what you got to do? Yep, you got to pay extra for a brand new charger. Sucks. I got an Anchor, universal, stupid milliamps, charges very fast. I would suggest you guys invest in one of those if you can. But, and you don't have to worry about just charging your iPhone, but any phone. A lot of times I don't even take the chargers out of the box because I fast charge with my Anchor brick. So, yeah. So that's the explanation behind the really thin box here. This box actually looks more like an accessory box than it does a phone box. And if you think I'm lying, here's the LG Wing box, which this phone is much more on par with what a typical phone box looks like. And look at this. The iPhone 12 box is like half the size of the box for the LG Wing. So yeah, when I say that they're taking contents out, they're taking contents out. All right, so typical iPhone fashion. For the for the iPhone 12 models, the box is white, no matter what color you get. For the Pro models, the iPhone box is black. All right, so yeah, typical iPhone box. You got the red iPhone there. This is the product red, or like I said, it should be product coral. Yeah. All right, now I like the fact that Apple makes it easy to tear the plastic off. You just peel it from the bottom. We'll go ahead and get rid of that. All right, and here is our device. Now, you guys see what I'm talking about here? Here's the phone. Product red. Now look at this. Well, this one more is like a more deeper red. The red on my iPhone SE second gen here is a little bit darker than the product red here on the iPhone 12. But I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's more like it looks like a pinkish red or something like that. But then when you get to that aluminum frame, then the aluminum frame that's red. Like, there's no denying that. That's red. But yeah, interesting. Now this feels really good in the hand. It's lighter than what I thought it was going to be. But I like the design change as far as how it looks on, or just how it feels and how it looks. It's much more of a flatter display. I like the fact that you've still got the red trim around the edges. I like the red and black combo. Same thing that they did with the SE second gen, rather than it being white or other colors on the front. Okay, so yeah, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the iPhone 12 here. And let's go ahead and boot her on up. Okay, and while that's booting up, I'll just set that aside. And so, okay, so they do have a wire in the box, but there's no brick, the thing that you plug into the wall. Apple feels as though people just have a lot of those laying around. And now let's see here. Okay, now this is where a lot of people are going to get tripped up. Now the cord here, you got the lightning adapter on one side. The other side, you got Type-C. So if you don't have a Type-C power brick to plug this into to charge your phone, you guessed it, you got to run down to your local Best Buy or whatever carrier you bought this from, or to your local Apple store, and you got to buy the wall adapter, the thing that you plug into the wall to plug this into to charge your phone, unless you just have other ones laying around from, say, your iPad or previous iPhones or whatever. So that is kind of messed up, because a lot of people aren't going to have the brick that you can plug a Type-C jack into. A lot of people have the brick that you plug in a USB Type-A. You see what I mean? And then, of course, you get some literature here. There's your SIM ejection tool. And then your little Apple logo, so you can troll all your Android partners, and maybe, stick that Apple logo on their the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra or something like that. All right, now let's Let's go ahead and get to the device again. This is a 6.5 inch display. I'm sorry, 6.1 inch display. And yeah, this feels really good in the hand. I mean, I really like how flat it is, and it's rather thin. But you see how flat that is. You can see the cameras; they protrude ever so slightly. It's not really a big deal, but I mean, you know, if you have it on a surface, I mean, it wobbles a little bit. It's not true. It's not too dramatic, but I never recommend setting your phone down on the lenses because you don't want to crack those lenses, because these are some excellent cameras, possibly the best cameras in the market right now. And the last thing you want to do is crack the lens or smudge them up or damage them somehow to where the photo output just isn't going to be what you would like it to be. All right, so get a case, and pretty much any case that you put on this phone, it's going to provide a little bit of a lip over the sensors, so that when you do set this phone down on its back, then the camera sensors aren't going to be touching whatever surface that your phone is lying on. All right, now you see again, we've got that same notch. I was hoping that iPhone was going to deliver us a notchless design. You know, so I was kind of, you know, I don't want to say bummed, but it was not a surprise that Apple decided to go with pretty much the same design as far as how the phone looks on the front. I feel like Apple, they play it really safe. They don't really take too many chances. They don't really deviate much from what they've been doing. And I think that what that does is it doesn't give us, the consumers, a lot to be excited about. Like a lot of the things that I just named off when I was reading off the spec list, I mean, a lot of those things are things that previous iPhones have had. Nothing really too, too exciting. I mean, I understand they got MagSafe. There's like a big magnet that's right here, and you can clip a wireless charger to it, or make sure that if you put the phone on a wireless charger that it's lined up properly to make sure that it's getting a charge. And then there's like a little MagSafe magnet that you can snap to the back of your phone and put your put your debit cards and stuff in. But it's like me, I'm from the old school, man. I'm carrying my wallet. I don't care about no MagSafe. I'm not trying to clip a magnet to my phone that's going to house my ID and my debit cards or passport or whatever. And according to Marques Brownlee, when I looked at his video, that magnet that holds all that critical information isn't even really all that sticky to the phone. Like, he was clipping the little thing to the back of the phone, and then he would go to put it in his pocket, and his pocket would knock the thing off. That's the last thing you want to lose. So I wouldn't recommend that MagSafe accessory. Maybe the wireless charger, that may be cool, but I mean, that whole wallet deal, yeah, I would recommend y'all stay away from that for now. Maybe some third-party manufacturers will take better advantage of that technology and make something that will actually stick to the phone to where it won't move, or even if you brush up against it, it's still going to stay in place. But I know that the one that Apple is selling, yeah, unless you want to lose your stuff, then you go ahead and chance that. All right. But, I mean, is the phone going to be good overall? Yeah, probably. It's an iPhone, and they always usually have like, nice fluid experiences. It's got that new A12 or A14 Bionic processing chip in it. I mean, so this thing is definitely going to be a powerhouse. I mean, so I'm not going to discredit it there, but I'm just saying, as far as anything that's like really new and exciting, even with the implementation of iOS 14.1, okay, we have the ability to move apps around. We can put widgets on our screen now. Again, this is stuff that Android has been doing for years and years and years and years and years and years. And then here comes Apple. Man, make sure you guys download that iOS 14.1 update. We can maneuver apps around where we want them. You know what I'm saying? We can now get widgets. We're closer to an Android type of experience. It's like, come on, man, get up out of here with that, yo. I mean, yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm trying not for this unboxing experience to turn into a rant video. I don't want to do that. All right, that's I may just rant, whatever. All right, so hardware. Now, this hardware is unprecedented, to say the least. All right, I like how flat it is. Here's our lightning port, which should be a Type-C port. There's a bottom firing speaker. Here's our noise canceling microphone. We've got a little antenna line right there. To the left of the device, we've got another antenna line. Here's our SIM tray. And Our power button, ladies and gentlemen, is on the right side of the device, but our volume rocker and our alert slider is on the left side of the device. So there's the alert slider right there at the top. Here's our volume rocker, up and down. Here's our another antenna line right there. Then at the top of the device to the left, we've got another antenna line. And on the right side of the device, what is this? There's this little, I believe that's like a 5G antenna right there. That's what that is. So you guys see that little slot right there that's in the glare? That's a 5G antenna. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video for a minute, go through the process, get to the home screen, and I'll be back and we'll browse around the OS for a little bit, check out some of the features, functions, take a look at the camera, take a couple of shots, see how that's looking, and then we'll close the video out. All right. All right, y'all, we are back at the desktop with the new iPhone 12 here. And again, we are running the latest operating system, which is iOS 14.1. And I know that before these phones came out, that update came out for some of the older iPhone models, and that basically gave us the ability to kind of move apps around where we want them. We have the ability to have widgets on the screen, which is pretty nice. We got this new feature here where the phone will automatically consolidate a lot of the applications that you have and put them in their own separate sections based on what those applications may be. So say for suggestions, well, wasn't trying to go into Cash App, but it groups a lot of things together, like social. It'll have like most of my social applications. For productivity and fitness, it will have what it thinks should be in those sections. For creativity, it'll have like the camera, photos, and any other apps for that it feels are under the creative category. Utilities, the watch, the app store, the calculator, all that sort of thing, entertainment, Apple Music, you get the point. And so that's pretty cool. And, you can change these up, move them around, however you like. And, really, I just feel like this update just kind of gave the iPhone a more of an Androidish type of feel, because on Android, you've been able to do a lot of this stuff. Basically you dictate where you want your apps to be on the screen, or however many screens you want to have. You dictate whether or not you want widgets on the screen or not. And so, I know that there are other updates, but I mean, that's a lot of the surface stuff. That's a lot of the stuff that we see. Those are visual things that we can see that weren't there, that are now there on the iPhone. And, I've had so many different devices in and out of my hands. I mean, to an Apple fanboy and girl, maybe that's cool and it's the best thing ever. But it's like, I've been there, done that on several other phones long before Apple decided to implement this within their software. So, I mean, it's just hard for me to get excited about something like that. And then, of course, just like the update that the iPod got, or the iPad got a little while ago, with having the ability to have like on the left side of your iPad like a news feed, basically. Well, you got that same thing here when you swipe to the hard, give your device screen a hard swipe to the right, and it's going to bring up just very similar to Google now. This is like Apple News and just a bunch of other stuff that's trending. Your battery life, see what's new in iOS 14. I forgot the name of this, but this basically just tracks how often I'm on my phone and, what applications I'm in the most, what I'm using the most, just if I'm trying to really get a handle on those things. This keeps track of it for me. My verse of the day, I try to stay spiritually grounded, spiritually fit, you know what I'm saying? So I stay with my Bible app. I get the verse of the day every day, so I can, get that good reading off up in me. I suggest y'all do that as well. The Score, which I think is the dopest score app or sports app that there is besides ESPN. But you get it. I mean, it's just a lot of useful information that you now have access to. And I think that, the update provides a bit more of a convenient feel for the iPhone. Now, again, just when I go ahead and lock the device, again, you've got Face ID, and so you see the screen just unlocks just like it normally would, and it's pretty instant. I mean, right when you unlock the device, right when it recognizes your face, it doesn't automatically just pop into your home screen, and so you do have to swipe up and get into your desktop. That's not really a problem for me. I like the wallpaper, and the wallpaper goes really good with this red, red and black being my favorite color. So I like that look, right? Like I really like how that looks. But I mean, A14 Bionic chipset, and so again, if we are going in applications, just pop into Spotify really quickly. Again, this is one of the most, God, there's so much content in Spotify, and it takes a second for it to log up, but I mean, you see that it gets in there pretty swiftly with no problems at all. And then of course we've got Apple Music, and it just pops right into Apple Music with no issues at all whatsoever, as it should. And then SoundCloud, this too, I've got a lot of music in SoundCloud. You see I just opened up SoundCloud really quickly, and I'm really a big fan of the red trim around the edges of the device. Can you guys see that? You know what I mean? So basically, whatever the color is of the device that you choose, I mean, it's going to be like a really thin trim level of that color around the front of the phone. And so, it's a really nice look. I mean, I'm very meticulous and detail oriented. I'm huge on cosmetics. And so I notice stuff like that. Maybe a lot of you guys won't. But, and of course, when you put a case on the phone, that's probably going to be covered up. But I mean, if you just wanted to rock this phone Buddha bucka naked, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you can, and, it's a good feel in the hand. I really like the construction of the device. Again, I really feel like they've taken some design cues from the iPhone 5, and they decided to, make it a little bit bigger, to accommodate the new screens, or the newer screen sizes for the more modern iPhones. And, from a construction and durability standpoint, I mean, I don't think that was a bad move at all as well. So, just mixing a little bit of old with the new. Now, one thing I'm really excited about, and I really wanted to get my hands on this phone, and I didn't want to wait, but I'm really excited, ladies and gentlemen, about the iPhone 12 mini, because here is the iPhone SE second generation. And I said in that video / rant that how cool would it have been, rather than to take the design of the iPhone 8, or basically just whatever iPhone 8s that they didn't sell, and was like, hey, let's just throw the A13 Bionic in, and give it whatever improvements that it can be approved upon just with that chipset in it, and call it the iPhone SE2, and it's going to sell like hotcakes, which it did. But if they would have made like a smaller device, you know what I mean, with this form factor, with the full screen display, with the notch at the top, like that would have been dope. And I said that in that video. Be sure, y'all, if you haven't checked out my iPhone SE second generation unboxing / rant, make sure you check that out, man. I mean, it's pretty comical at times, but I was telling the truth. I was spitting facts. A lot of the Apple fanboys and girls, they weren't really too appreciative of it. But, hey, it is what it is, man. I'm entitled to my opinion. And I just thought that phone was just a huge slap in the face. And yeah, I just think it was just a waste of people's time, man. I thought it was pretty comical based on where we've come so far with smartphones, as far as just, design cues and just everything. You know what I mean? It's like, why would they backtrack to this? Like whose idea was that? They just, let's just get the iPhone 8s and put an A13 Bionic in it, call it the iPhone 2 SE, and boom, there it is. Like we want to go from this design back to this design with the big forehead and the Touch ID. And I know that some people were so happy about the fact that Touch ID was back because they just can't grasp the concept of Face ID. Look, people, get over it. You know what I'm saying? We're moving further into the future, which means things of yesterday are going to be left in the past. And so adjust to the nuances of this technology as it evolves. You know what I'm saying? I understand what you think you got with the Touch ID and everything. That was great, right? And it fits you. It's comfortable. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, Come on, man. We can't push tech innovation further if everybody's just hanging on to the past. Can't let the past go. We say we can't move forward in the future if we're hanging on to the past. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's why I felt so insulted by this device. Now we got the iPhone 12 mini, which is just a mini version of this. It's got the same internal specifications. It's just smaller. Obviously, it's going to have a smaller battery because it's a smaller device. But actually, that phone is smaller than this. It's smaller than the iPhone SE 2, but it's got like a 5.4-inch display because, the front is all display now. You know what I mean? Rather than this big chin and big forehead that's on the SE2 here. So, that's going to be interesting to see when it comes out. Interesting that Apple, they decided not to release all 4 phones at once. So yesterday they just dropped the 12 and the 12 Pro. And then I think pre-orders for the iPhone 12 mini and the iPhone 12 Pro Max, you can pre-order those, I believe, on November 3rd or November 6th. And then I believe they're going to be available for shipping and for purchase on November 13th, if I'm not mistaken. So interesting how Apple decided to kind of split those up. You know what I'm saying? I don't really quite understand the rationale behind that. But we'll see how that goes. I'm pretty sure there's lots of people that want that 12 Pro Max. And so, they're definitely going to want it. They're going to want that. And a lot of people like myself are going to want a smaller iPhone with the newer form factor, with the newer, more modern body style. So, that'll be dope. And so stay tuned because I'm definitely planning on picking up that 12 mini once that drops. But as far as the phone and how it performs, do I even really need to go through this? It's pretty, I don't want to say self-explanatory, but there's nothing really new. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you swipe down from the top left. This is going to get you all your notifications. Okay, whatever notifications that there may be. If you want to interact with those things, you can swipe, you can touch them. Just go ahead and hit clear on that to get that out of here. You swipe down from the right corner of the top of the phone to get to your airplane mode, your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. If you're playing music, then this is where your music controls are going to be. This is going to be your volume, the screen brightness right here. This is going to be your calculator, the camera, timer, flashlight, screen mirroring. I believe that little moon is do not disturb. And then this is, this little lock icon is to lock the device. And then of course, you swipe up, now Apple, I got to say they were, the innovators of this whole gesture movement, right? When they released the iPhone 10, they were just like, we're doing away with the home button. We're doing away with Touch ID and it's going to be all facial recognition. And so that was a gutsy move, right? That was a gutsy move. And it's just like, Apple, they don't really take those kinds of risks anymore. It's every now and then, first off, it was like, okay, we're going to do away with the 3.5 millimeter jack. We're going to do away with that. You know what I'm saying? And people griped about it. But now more and more people have gotten used to it, especially Apple fanboys and girls, because, you ain't got no choice. You know what I'm saying? Because they're just not making the newer iPhones with those things anymore. Then, the iPhone 10 drops and they're like, okay, well, we're doing away with Touch ID. You know what I mean? We're going to, we feel like facial recognition is a little bit safer, or we've got the technology to make it as safe as we can. And so, they've done some gutsy things with their devices, but it just seems like by a very, very large margin, Android and its manufacturers are just way more ambitious when it comes to tech innovation. Way more ambitious. So, it is what it is. It's an iPhone, it's got that A14 Bionic chipset in it. The thing, you see it's nice and smooth. Very responsive to the touch. It's an iPhone. So I expect this thing to perform. You know what I'm saying? No matter what my gripes may be with Apple, the fact of the matter is every iPhone that I've ever had has always been a top performer. So that's definitely not something that you can take away from Apple. You got to give them their props with that. You do got to give them their props, even though, this stuff is, they're very, very late to the table with a lot of these implementations, just having the ability to move your apps around and, have widgets on your display. That's a nice touch. You know what I'm saying? Apple, they have such dictatorship over what they allow you to do. It's good just to have an update that gives us a feeling of freedom to do what we want with our device. to an extent, you know what I mean? So, then of course, if you want to get to your recents, you swipe up, hold, and that's going to take you to all your recents. Of course, if you want to go back into whatever app that you've got open, you just click on it. It's going to be right there. Hold up again, go back into SoundCloud. It's going to be right there. Hold up again, go back into Apple Music. It's all going to be right there. Again, 4 gigabytes of RAM, that's plenty. That's another thing it's amazing, just the technology that Apple has at their disposal. We see a lot of Android devices, these, 12 gigs of RAM, 6 gigs of RAM. I don't know if Apple has ever had a device that had more than 4 gigs of RAM. Maybe the 12 Pro. I think the 12 Pro may have 6 gigs of RAM. I could be mistaken. Don't quote me on that. But it's amazing how Apple can continue to offer up these stellar performing devices with very little RAM. And it's a testament to how powerful their chipsets are. And so they definitely know what they're doing. I mean, they're saying that this A14 Bionic chip is the most powerful chipset in a device, and they're probably right. So I mean, there definitely is some things where Apple can be considered the leader or just at the forefront with certain things, but most of the bleeding edge technologies, yeah, Android is crushing them, in my opinion. All right, now let's get into this camera real quick. And of course, in typical Apple looking fashion, we've got the portrait photo mode, we've got portrait mode, we've got panorama mode, we've got video mode, we've got slow-mo mode, and we've got time lapse, baby. Yeah. All right, now again, you're gonna have a little bit more bells and whistles to play with if you decide to go with the Pro Max. As I mentioned earlier in the video, a lot of the things that this phone does not have that the Pros do. Like I mentioned before, if those things are determining factors, then you may want to just get yourself a whole lot for that Pro Max. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, if you're not really tripping over those things, I mean, these are the same cameras that are on the Pro and the Pro Max. I mean, so, the same enhancements that those phones have are also here in the 12. So don't think that just because, in the camera department, the Pro and the Pro Max is offering more, that this camera here on the 12 is a slouch, because it's not by any stretch of the imagination, ladies and gents. This camera is a beautiful one. And so I'll go ahead and just take a quick little shot here. Super fast shutter speed. Okay, this is just my little den area. And look at this. I mean, just this white light that I'm under, that I'm burning up under, how it just reflects over all the way over on the other side of the house. Color accuracy is just so spot on. Look at that, man. Just the detail on these cameras is just simply unprecedented. Right? I mean, yeah. The camera tech on these iPhones is pretty amazing. All right, now if we flip the camera around, just go ahead and take a quick selfie. Look at that. Look at that, man. That's just boom. Quick selfie. Stay tuned for the dedicated camera review, because I'm going to have that coming very soon. And a lot of these images that I've taken will be displayed so you can see exactly what this camera tech can do. And this is how I've been all day, man. Just in my little comfortable where I have been recording videos and editing literally all day. And this is my last one, and I can't wait to end it. Not saying that I don't enjoy spending time with y'all, but man, standing in front of this camera under these hot lights, oh my goodness. If you're not a reviewer, you don't quite understand, what it takes to do this, yo. You know what I'm saying? But I enjoy it. So, it is what it is. It's just a part of the grind. But yeah, so then here is our flash. And this is auto mode. We'll get out of that. We've got a little 2x zoom right there, just if you want to get a little closer in on the subject. All right, then when we hit that arrow, this brings up a lot of our settings. So we got flash, auto, Okay, yeah, that's the timer. This is the aspect ratio, whether we want to take photos in 4:3, 16:9, or square. We'll just leave it on 4:3. This is the, control the exposure. And then that's your timer. And there's just this little arrow right there that you hit that to bring those things up. And then when you want to do away with them, just click on that little arrow again and they go away. All right. So that's really all that I've got to show right now for the unboxing and the first initial thoughts and impressions for the iPhone 12. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to expose yourself to tons more videos that I've done like this one. Check out my catalog, man. I've got a lot of videos like this from a lot of different devices. Be sure to keep it locked at Pristine Mobile Tech because I've got so much more content to come. Hit that notifications bell so that when my videos do drop and go live, you'll be one of the first to get notified. And you can be one of the first to check out that content and let me know what you think about what you saw. I'll be in the comment section, posted up, chilling, waiting on your comments, questions, or any kind of feedback that you may have for me. I love to have conversations about this tech, and, let's keep it respectful. I respect your thought processes and opinions. You respect mine, and man, it's all love. Any disrespect or negativity, I don't put too much time and attention and energy in it, and I just pass it right on by. She keeps on passing me by. You know what I'm saying? I just pass that disrespect on by, baby. Yeah. So, much love to all of my subscribers. And, I'm talking about, thank you for letting me be in your ear right here on this here iPhone 12. And y'all already know, please stay safe, get spiritually fit, because we definitely living on in the last days. I ain't trying to scare you. That's just what the business is. You know what I'm talking about? But if you keep trusting and believing in the Lord, I'm talking about in the Lord. I'm talking about the LAWD. Keep trusting and having faith and trust in the Lord. You know what I'm saying? You gonna be all right. Yeah, you gonna be all right. Keep it pristine in every aspect of your lives, man. I'll catch y'all in the next video, man. It's the iPhone 12, man. I'm your man Pristine, bringing you the content, man. I'm out.